Right guys, okay, so lesson 1B. This is not a proper lesson because you're not producing anything in this lesson, but it is an important lesson because we need to get to grips with materials, yeah? So I've sent you a link to this folder. What you need to do is download it and download it into your documents folder. The link might be here, yeah? But basically we've got 4 folders, an audio folder, an environment textures folder, also called HDRIs, materials texture folder, and a piano MP3 folder. Yeah. Okay, and once you download it, you can extract it, and then you get these folders on your local computer. And I recommend that you put them in a folder called Blender Assets. Okay, that's a good name, and it should go in your Blender folder. Yeah. So we've got something like this. Yeah, and here we've got some very, very small MP3 files, and these are just the sounds of piano keys. Okay, and we use this, I think, in lesson 9 or lesson 7, I don't remember. Here we've got some audio. And these are just free tracks that I've downloaded for us from the internet. And I will put the link in the description below if you want to download some more, but we don't need a lot of music. 4 should be enough. The main ones I want to focus on in this tutorial are the environment textures and these material textures. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So, open Blender, AX, delete everything. Actually, no. Let me put back in a sphere. Now we will see, when we go into rendered mode, we can't see the sphere very well, and that's because there's no light, yeah? And sometimes it can be a bit of a pain to set up all of our lighting. And there is an easier way. And the easier way is to use one of these environment textures. Okay, so what are they? If you head over to World, then you see this color. And if you click on this yellow dot, then we see environment texture. If we click on environment texture, we can open it, and then we can find our Blender assets. Now, it's a really, really good idea. You'll need to find your Blender assets in here. So you can go into Documents, and then Blender Assets, and da-da-da. Once you've done that, how to do it? Once you have your favorites folder, just click the Add button, and it will save it down here in your bookmarks. Okay, and then it's a shortcut to get to the folders that you use a lot of the time. Okay, so I've done that. I've added my bookmark. It's called For Students. You can call it something different, whatever. So what are we doing? Yes. Now your view might look a little bit like this. It's much better if it looks like this, okay? So in this kind of big tile mode. So environment textures, now we can see what we've got, yeah? And if you open one of them, you can see that your world, your scene, changes. Suddenly you've got this environment, yeah? And if we want to change it, we can click Change and change it for this one, which is a cinema. There we go. Yeah, we can look up, or we can look around, and we can change it again. And I've given you, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10. I've given you 14 of these, which is enough. Yeah, we don't need more than that. Okay, and the purpose of this lesson is just to have a little bit of a play. You're not producing anything. It's just about playing and just seeing what environment textures you like and which ones you don't like. Okay, here we've got the night sky. Okay, so that's our environment textures. What about this one, material textures, which is also a big folder? Well, with these spheres, what we can do is we can add a material. So go to Material, go to New. We can just change the color. Nice and simple, yeah? And that's fine, we can do that. But if we want to, we can Shift D to duplicate. Okay, now we see that we've got 2. If we want to, I can change, if I change this color now, they both change because they're a duplicate, okay? So they're kind of linked. So if I want them to be different, the first thing I need to do is I need to delete the material. Okay, there we go. Now we see that this one has stayed. Now these are kind of separate. They're separate issues, separate spheres. Now I can create a new material. But this time, if I don't want to have just a simple color, if I want to have something a little bit more sophisticated, I can click on Image Texture. I can click on Open. I can go to my Favorites folder, Material Textures, and again, in this tile view, now I can add any sort of material that I want. Yeah? And I can Shift D, delete that material, have a new one. Okay, and I've given you quite a lot of these, and some of them are really nice, yeah? We can make really attractive looking spheres. And these materials, they do work best on spheres. Okay, so I'll duplicate that, remove the material, image texture, open, for students, materials, yeah? Some really nice looking materials. And this, a lot of this is what you will do in lesson 2. In lesson 2, we have a plane down here and we make these balls bounce. So if we can do this with an environment texture and some balls with different materials, then we have already done quite a lot of lesson 2. So let me delete that material first. New, image texture, open, for students, materials. And again, it's just about you having a little bit of a play with these materials, with these environment textures, yeah? If I want to change the environment, we remember how to do that. We go to World, and then we change it, and then I can change it to that one, yeah? Nice. Okay, and that's all this lesson is. It's just about exploring what environment textures are and exploring what material textures are, yeah? When you've done that, when you've had a little bit of a play and you've bookmarked your materials, you've downloaded them and bookmarked them, then you can just close this. There's nothing to produce. You can move on to lesson 2 and you can have some fun in that lesson. So very good. I'll see you guys next time. Bye for now.